Man, all of that was silent. Hey, thank you, YouTube. Sorry, we've just had a very silent 5 minutes on YouTube. Huge apologies to YouTube. Okay, just I'll just go back to the I'll just go back to the interesting stuff. Yeah, thank you, Cyprian. I mean that's a disaster. Do you know what happened? I set up eCam to be mute, have a scene where it's muted while it's doing the countdown, and then to go into a scene where the audio is turned on once I start. But apparently that didn't work, so that's cool. But yeah, just to go back to Video Pencil. Yeah, we've got on Video Pencil now. We've got USB cameras. Labs is cool. Microphones. Well, I'm not going to repeat it. But sparkles. Or maybe I should, because I'm sort of trying to cut these clips up. But point is, you've got the sparkles now, and you can also use USB cameras with Video Pencil. The other thing, Video Pencil camera. Yeah, so I was having a bit of a long... it was difficult. In the end, we found out it did work with CueCam, didn't work with Video Pencil camera, so I just sort of like compared the code for the two, and there was this one line which was like, oh yeah, that would do it. So we managed to fix that. And so the latest version of Video Pencil camera, if you have... I think some people might be having this and not realizing that a better world is available, because I know like a lot of people using like telestrating on eCam, for example, telestrating on certain things, are kind of used to like having to set up a green screen and draw on the green screen, and you can't see where you're drawing, whereas the whole point of Video Pencil is you can see where you're drawing. So the idea that it's just like a black iPad and you're drawing and it's coming through your feed might seem like that's fine. So I think probably a lot of people are kind of using Video Pencil in this really sort of like underwhelming, not a lot, but maybe a handful, but it just turns out that yeah, for some users it wasn't sending out that video feed from the Mac, but that's fixed now, so phew. But yeah, CueCam, like lots of people have jumped on. I'm so grateful, so thank you to everyone that's bought CueCam Presenter. And so now we're in this little phase post-launch where, so I know how you're supposed to use it. I've had a few months really of user testing, but not like sort of intensive, because people are sort of volunteering their time. But now I'm sort of into, I've sort of got that golden path figured out. Like if you use it right, then it's really great. But now what I'm catching is all of those millions of ways that you might use it that I wasn't expecting. And so I had a weird thing this week where someone wants to sort of play back a long video from CueCam. And then so they're dragging it in, and then it's converting for ages and ages, and then yeah, it's a bit weird, and it's actually like not really how it should be done, and like you should really do it on, play the video back from YouTube and do that. But then I forget that not everyone has YouTube Premium, so to do that you'd get loads of ads. So then the other way you'd do it is like share a QuickTime window and do it that way, but then there's issues with that. But it just means I'm sort of having to put in little features like, okay, if you drag in a video that's an hour, I just say, oh, like if you're not going to be sharing this CueCam document, then I can just like reference the original file, and you don't have to encode it and embed it and store it, because the only reason to convert it is if you're going to share the document with someone else. And that was sort of the hard bit to figure out as well. And so then sorry, am I still silent on YouTube? Still silent on YouTube. I shouldn't be silent on YouTube. I just asked. I can see people saying stuff. Yeah, so, and then just other things like someone was saying, oh, the next button doesn't work, and then it's because they put an asterisk in the thing and didn't realize that kind of turns on the bullet points feature. So we're just catching bits and bobs as we go. Okay, YouTube is okay. God. Everyone's scaring me today with this audio. Yeah, with all that, I am working on some video playback improvements. I am working on some just making sure, like, if someone's not using the titles in BeatSheet, then there's no reason for it to wait for the bullet points to appear, because they're not even bringing the NDI field of the titles in. So there's all that sort of stuff where I've made a feature and then people are confused by some effect of it that I hadn't anticipated. But this is the sort of phase we're in. And I think it's going all right. We'll get through it, but I'm also sort of loosening up a little bit and kind of like maybe add a little feature here and there as well, but we'll see. So I guess what we're talking about today, I promised you pro tips. But I'm going to be, this is going to be a relatively loose one, and I'm sort of going to have to figure out how to talk about this today. So what I think I'm going to do is bring up a CueCam window and share my screen. And we just have a little look, see what we're dealing with. So, one thing I wanted to talk about, the first pro tip is, let's just type this in, keyboard shortcuts. Now, there's a few different areas where keyboard shortcuts are interesting in CueCam. Is this video feed? Why is this it's like in the middle for some reason. Oh man. Okay, let's try that. What is this now? Okay, let's just share the window. The good thing is there's always it's not going to let me share that window. What is going on with the desktop? Oh no. I see questions as well. Okay, I do have a question. What I would like to what I don't understand is why this screen capture is being weird and just going in the middle. Let's try this. And there's another issue. Another problem with my world is, we're not going to be able to do this, are we? What we're going to have to do is I'm just going to have like a side window and use demo mode to show you things, which is not ideal. I have this really annoying issue with CueCam, which is I have to, if I'm working on it, and which often involves breaking it, I can't like run the stable version because like all of the permissions sort of it's like asking me for permissions on the version in my applications, and then it sort of breaks the screen sharing in the debug version, and it's sort of like, just if I use the wrong one, it like breaks screen sharing and stuff in the other one. So I'm always sort of on the bleeding edge. I'm halfway through working on something version of CueCam when I'm live, and that is not ideal. that is not a great way to live. When I'm always, so it just adds a little bit of extra danger to everything, which I do not love. But yeah, let's get a little sort of document up. But first, I will answer this question. Add to broadcast. This might be a stupid question, but how is CueCam different to BeatSheet? In so many ways is the short answer. CueCam. The best way to think about CueCam is it's BeatSheet multiplied by Video Pencil Camera, just multiplied by with just a lot more stuff built in. So where BeatSheet you have to BeatSheet, the innovation I came up with BeatSheet was being able to add these titles and giving those out as an NDI feed and being able to step through something. The innovation with and then I created Video Pencil Camera. It was like, oh well, it would make sense to automatically bring these things in. And then one day I just had this brainwave which was just like, no, like BeatSheet needs to be a virtual camera and do all the stuff that currently is piped through Video Pencil Camera. And now, so CueCam Presenter sort of arose out of that. It was take all of that structure from BeatSheet and take all of that screen sharing and Aside 3D and interesting innovations and virtual audio that I'd been sort of tinkering with in Video Pencil Camera, and actually make something that's a standalone app with its own standalone licensing, which can also unlock Shoot and Video Pencil. So all you do is you get CueCam, and now if you've got an iPad, if you've got an iPhone, you just install Shoot, you just install Video Pencil, and they're just unlocked automatically by CueCam. So in effect, that just means CueCam is the one thing you download, install on your Mac, gives you a virtual camera you can use anywhere. And if you want to draw, you just grab your iPad and you start drawing, right? You just, as long as Video Pencil's on there, you just launch Video Pencil and start drawing. You don't have to do any other mucking about for that to work. If you want to use your phone as a webcam, like, it automatically connects to Shoot wirelessly or with a wire. So it's just a much more unified way of doing all the stuff that I offer, that you can sort of piece together from the other, individually, and going through different apps and using OBS, using Ecamm, you can sort of get a similar effect, but it's not that coherent, easy experience where you can just give it to someone in your company and go, okay, you can use this for presentations, and here's some of the documents that you can use. And that's really what CueCam's all about. But a lot of the features, there's sort of more complicated ways of achieving with some combination of other software, but this is sort of like a unified thing where you sort of download the thing, you put something in your phone, put something in your iPad, and you're just good to go. So that's really what the idea of it is. So I was gonna talk about what we've got to do is make this window tool, share it. So there's some different kinds of keyboard shortcuts. Now the ones I use, if I say I want to talk about keyboard shortcuts. So it's showing the wrong window, isn't it? Please give me this window. And okay, this is my window. Right. So I've got my CueCam document. I want to talk about keyboard shortcuts. So I've just got my hands on the keyboard. I want to add another card. I go, you can actually see this one, Command Enter. Okay, now I've got another card. Next, we're going to talk about writing good scripts, perhaps. We probably won't. If you tab, you will go back and forwards between those cards. If you select some text, Command Option T, so that's Command Option plus T, not Command Option, Command Shift T. Shift T, if we hit that, Command Shift T on keyboard shortcuts, that's now a title, which you can see down here. There's a title has appeared on there. If you started writing something a bit long, so I'll give you an example, like here's something I'm sort of looking at here. I've got some ideas of tips that I can give you. So that you might have a thing here. You can actually like select that text and you know, things like Command, if I do Command Shift down, that's going to automatically select everything below my cursor. But then if I do Command Option down, it's going to move that into another card. I can go Command Option down, move that into another card. Command Option down, move that into another card, select that, make it a title, delete it from the card. You can move around very quickly, and as you tab around, it's going to go between the title and the text, and you can move up and down. So the keyboard shortcuts to know, really, that there's not many, and to find them, just go up into the edit menu. There's like add card, selected text to title, move selected text to new card. And then a final one is, if you go, well, you can do this with or without, but like Command Shift C will actually copy the whole document as Markdown. So I can sort of demonstrate that by starting a card and pasting what I just copied in, so you can see what that looks like. But what's good about that is you're going to if you paste it back in, if you haven't got a card selected and you paste it back in, it's actually going to retain the cards. You see, so I copied all of the cards and I pasted them, and here they are, right? Duplicated. Oh, something else actually. If something that you might not know is copy paste, duplicate actually works a little bit better than copy paste at the moment. So if you've got a card and you just want to duplicate it and it's got a video attached or something, if you do Command D, that's just going to copy all of that configuration down to the next card. So if you have like what I've got, which is like a title loop, and then you want to sort of like add another instance of that with like an action attached to it, like the music fades up, just select the card, Command D, copy it down to another one, and that's going to give you like a nice clean copy of the card referencing the same video, all that stuff. Whereas if you copy it other ways, it's going to sort of copy it as text, and then it's going to be more markdowny. But that's another thing you can do. So that's kind of that's the sort of like the text editing stuff. So there's not much to learn, but it's really worth learning those things. And don't forget that while you can sort of click up in this thing and sort of add bullet points with this little button, which I do give you this little button to add bullet points, like bullet 2, right? But you really can just edit that. You just put a star, it's just basically markdown, and you just see that sort of appearing as you would expect. So you should be able to write with CueCam without really leaving your keyboard, and that's because you want to really just be thinking about what you want to say. You don't want to be clicking and right-clicking and mucking about. So The other kind of keyboard shortcuts are these sort of like control ones. So if we come into the camera, there's something you need to be aware of, and if in doubt, there's focus things. So if you're, depending on, like if a text field has focused, obviously when you press the keyboard shortcut, you're going to start typing in the box. But if you just want to sort of toggle aside 3D, which is A, which if we share something, we'll be able to see kind of. If I try and press A now, it's going to be down here in the thing. I'm going to get my laser pointer out and do like a better job of highlighting things. That's being weird. If you press escape, well, delete. If you just press escape, now when you press A, or is aside a bad example? Let's see. Some of the keyboard shortcuts can be a little bit fussy. What I would say is probably pro tip is have a Stream Deck, and sort of map the stuff you care about to the Stream Deck is the more pro tip. But to be honest, like something I do end up doing a lot. I sort of prefer navigating on the keyboard when I'm navigating cards and having the key. So I do have a Stream Deck button set up, but something I do quite like just going Command Option right on my keyboard to navigate sometimes, and the main reason for that is like it's kind of quieter, and it's sort of like the keyboard is actually like you kind of always know where it is, and I find my Stream Deck there's a little bit of a muscle memory problem in that it's not always quite in exactly the same position on my desk, so I sort of do have to look down, whereas I kind of always know where I am with my keyboard. Like I know where my home keys, I know where my arrow keys, so I don't know, I kind of like that. Pro tip, have a stream. He likes it, have a Stream Deck. Yeah, I mean it really is like it's gonna sort of make certain things a lot easier, and suddenly you don't have to like alt tab back to an application. But yeah, it is quite cool. But there's another kind of keyboard shortcuts which you can see. I don't know why you see like A is being weird. The A shortcut is being weird. I'll tell you what it is. It's because I'm on this freaking test version, which like focuses to a different window. Yeah, so you won't have this problem, but I have it. But if you look down here, all these keyboard shortcuts. So I've got Video Pencil connected. All these keyboard shortcuts here. So you see there's an X in brackets there. So if I draw something and press X, that's cleared the drawing. Right, so you can see what all of those keyboard shortcuts are. E, S, you can see the number keys. So if you wanted to use your computer keyboard to control Video Pencil, if you wanted to like draw something, clear it, draw something, clear it. You can even like if you're playing a video within Video Pencil, you can actually step through frames, jump forwards, backwards, pause, like remove the video. So you can switch the laser pointer, turn on live titles, turn them off. You can do those all with keystrokes here. And that if you don't have a Stream Deck, that can be really useful. But also remember, and this is another sort of tip that we can get to now, all of these, pro tip, all of these things down here, you can right click them and that will give you a deep link. So like CueCam : / iPad dash control / erase tool. That's a link that when you launch that link, it's going to erase what's on the iPad via CueCam. So what that means is you can grab. I am so upset about this weird bug that I'm having with my desktop sharing today. This is really upsetting. I must say, like, this is a first. I don't know where this came from. Because it's making it very difficult for me to show you things today. So, yeah, like it's all squashed. I don't even know what to, I guess I could just share an eCam, but then that's a sort of, let's just share an eCam. Show primary display. No, that's not the primary display. See, that's why I don't like sharing an eCam, because you don't know which screen you're going to get, and then you show everyone's names. Right, so I'm going to turn off screen sharing here so you can see me in the corner still. I'll show you some stuff. We'll do some eCam screen recording for today because I am on the sort of test version of CueCam. What we've got here. So what we can do is we can grab the Stream Deck app. So here's the Stream Deck app. I'll just make a new profile. Now, any of these buttons. So actually, like this, the Stream Deck app does come with like all of these different CueCam Presenter. You see, I can't like zoom in from my iPad. I can't draw on it because I can't see it anymore. Just I don't like doing it this way anymore. I like CueCam. Also, the zoom, you can't see what I'm doing. So this is just not good enough, is it? We need to come back to the thing and come back to just a compromised screen share. Oh man, like part of me just wants to fix this now, but that is so weird. It's very weird, this. I don't know what that would be. Maybe I can share the Stream Deck window for now. Except the Stream Deck window isn't a proper window, so that's kind of hard as well. I will show YouTube. YouTube. This is the Stream Deck. This is a CueCam window. Now, on the Stream Deck, you do get all of these. You do get most of these actually here. But one thing you don't actually get is the ability to switch the main camera. Like I haven't made that like a Stream Deck plugin because it's not something I'm not prioritizing for people. I don't want you to really be switching main cameras all the time for whatever reason. I like this idea, but it is possible. So all you do is on this sidebar here, you can click for the deep link to that camera. So if you did want to share your FaceTime HD camera, you could copy that link. You come onto your Stream Deck app and you go new website. It's like website is the command, and then paste in a URL. And now when you press that Stream Deck button, it's going to switch to the FaceTime camera. Dare we do that right now? Like I'm going to press it and we're going to see what happens. So on my Stream Deck, I'm going to press the button I just made and, oh, hello, I'm on this jank ass camera. So that just goes via CueCam. Can I bring myself back to, let's just get my main camera back to my nice one. So yeah, there's lots to discover in terms of those keyboard shortcuts, in terms of those deep links, in terms of those the different ways you can sort of control the app without clicking away with a mouse. And I've put a fair bit of time to make sure that stuff is available. And I am going to be still improving the Stream Deck plugin because something at the moment, I want the aside button to show the icon and show you whether or not you're in the aside mode. I want the share button where you can toggle whether or not your share is there to like show what it's currently sharing. So I'm going to get to that soon. But at the moment, like, you know, one button that's quite cool to add. This is a good pro tip. The clear action, which I think you get the clear drawing. This X action in CueCam here. There's a clear drawing, but that actually will sort of like smartly, progressively clear. If you've got a slide up, it'll first remove the slide. If you've got like a video up, it'll then. Well, first it'll clear the drawing, then it'll clear the slide, then it'll clear like something else, like the desktop share. So you can just put that on your Stream Deck, and I have that on my Stream Deck so that I can sort of like exit back to my camera really easily. So that's just something to be aware of as well. And if you just create a deep link to that, I will make it a proper Stream Deck link. But the thing is, like, there's a couple of missing Stream Deck buttons at the moment, but you can recreate those using these. Anyway, if you want to ask me, you can always ask me this on Discord. If you sort of heard something that you thought, oh, I'd like to be able to do that, but I didn't really understand the explanation, Discord, come and find me. I'll go into more detail. I'll probably make a little video. I'll try and sort of like flesh out the documentation. So there we go. That's where we are. I have another little question. Does CueCam work with Mimo Live in the same way as it does with eCam Live? The answer to that is yes. Any document you have open in Mimo Live will be available to, it works as layer sets. So you have to set up layer sets because Mimo Live doesn't really have scenes in the same way as OBS and eCam. but it does have layer sets. So if you have a sort of configuration of layers, turn that into a layer set in Mimo Live, and then you can just select it from the drop down in CueCam and switch to that when you get to that point of your presentation. I'm going. Let's do another couple of good ones on. So your main camera. There's some things that you might not realize you can do with your main camera, and they are like And I'm going to go back to what I'm going to do is I'm going to share Zoom is going to get the wonky screen share, but YouTube is going to get the eCam screen share. If you, like me, have a camera with a logarithmic output, a log mode, you can drag a LUT into CueCam and it will recognize it and use it. So I am currently, I'm actually like on a logarithmic color profile coming through CueCam at the moment, but I've dragged on a LUT file. Literally just drag it onto this window here. And that's gonna work, and it's gonna save it, and it's gonna be available between sessions. If you pop out this sidebar here, like you can see USB video. It's a bit of a janky pop-up, but right here, LUT applied, and also there you've got green screen. So I'm gonna are we gonna try and do this? Like, you know, the thing with these demos, today I thought, right, we need to get into a bit of a more of a regular routine of different kinds of demos. eCam does seems to do like a monthly getting started with eCam. What I'm going to be doing is getting it set up is week 1. Beginner's guide is week 2. Like day-to-day stuff is going to be week 3 of the month, and then week 4 of the month we're going to get into these pro tips. So today we're sort of in the weeds doing some weird, interesting stuff, but so I'm taking you through some of the sort of more esoteric features today. But what I'm going to show you is, if I share my thing here, by the way, this could just as easily be macOS Sonoma being weird as my software going wrong. Like, so I'm just going to add that in, by the way, before you start worrying that CueCam is broken. Sonoma, I'm still waiting for another update that solves some stuff. But what I want to show you is, say you've got, if you could turn on green screen. Now you can see I don't have a green screen here, but I can use, if I select shoot as my main camera. So I'm trying to unlock these are iPhone 13. You can unlock it with Face ID when it's on its side, but you can't with the iPhone XR. I am just realizing this. Right, if I launch shoot, and you see shoot appeared in that sidebar, and it's available as my camera, but also I've enabled virtual green screen on it. So if I use shoot as my main camera, now I've got this virtual green screen. And now if I select this, like, and sort of come in and out, like now I've got this, like this different. So why don't I turn off the green screen? So this is what we've got. I'm on this green screen. So this is like a portrait effect. It's just built into shoot. It's you know, under experimental features, but if you haven't got anything else, it's really, if you haven't got a green wall, it's quite useful. So I'm just using shoot's green screen, virtual green screen, and now I can just click on the little cog button next to that and just turn that into a background, and then you can drag a background. So you see I'm sort of like on like a sunset, and obviously your green screen will look better than this because it's not doing weird stuff to create the green screen, but I can sort of like set up my background, and a really good thing you can do is just have a picture of your room as the background, especially if, like, I saw this, someone was doing it someone was doing it in sort of like a workshop, and then they had their workshop as the background, so then they could be picture in picture on the lower third on the overhead camera in front of the room, and then when they came back to the full camera, they'd have this background. But yeah, so you can set the background, and when you go to picture in picture, so if I sort of turn on my screen share, or like, what am I doing? Coming in and out of a side 3D, or if I just toggle off that screen share, I get to be a little bit bigger. So this is sort of like, I did this before Apple did their whole thing, but look, we can be, instead of in a circle, we can be a bit bigger and sort of like in front of the camera like this. My eye contact isn't right anymore because my phone is sort of below the teleprompter now. But if I was using Shoot, I could have my teleprompter on the phone and I'd still be making eye contact. I'm looking at my phone now and it works a lot better. So yeah, green screen and LUTs both are available. So what this goes into really is, oh, you see it's lost my LUT. So I can now demonstrate how to add a LUT. So I think Cube, I think I had, it was called like Rec 709, log to Rec 709. Yeah, I've got this folder of LUTs here. So I've just been using this Canon one. So if I just drag on my Canon log 2, and now, oop, that's not the one we want. Let's try a different one. You see, you can get some interesting effects as well. Like if you don't want it to look normal, you can always make it look crazy. Let's just try dragging on. This is where I break something. I don't think I wanted WDR, did I? I think I just wanted. Oh, no. All right, let me just, am I running this? Yeah, let me just quickly come out. Okay, we still got crazier. I shouldn't have changed it, because I don't actually know which LUT I use. So I've just dragged on a weird one. Let's try this. I think it was just Rec 709. I just want to bring back my my nice LUT again. Okay, yeah, that's all right. So coming back to, I just saw some questions. So I will just quickly answer a couple of questions. Following up on the last question, will CueCam Presenter work with other software like Descript, Squadcast, or Sessions? It will work with anything that you can use a webcam in. So anywhere, any app that you can select a camera in, it will work with. So that's the short answer. And then I have future recording features there. And then I also see there's a couple of other questions on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Following up on, shows me my Apple. Is there something I need to do so that the website recognizes? I mean, there's a question about discounts. You do have to log in to the website with your Apple ID, so that it can like match up your purchases. But your purchases are going to, I think. So what you do to get it to recognize it is you sign in with your Apple ID, and then you have to download CueCam and like use Video Pencil with it, use Shoot with it, and that's how it like figures out what you've purchased already. And then it tells the server, and now you can see the discounts. So basically, like, and we'll get into this next week as well, because it will be a kind of getting everything set up. I'll talk about this a bit more, but definitely. Sorry, I read the chat, got distracted. Yeah, there's some steps to it, but again, like if you want to follow up, I'm in Discord, and I'll share the link at the end of the session, and you can come find me on Discord. Yeah. And I see, yes, I did. This is I see that I have a friend on in the stream today who I did, yes, last night fix some bugs so that he could get all his discounts, because I'd like in the process of fixing it for the beat sheet discount somehow broke the other. I don't know what was happening there, but yeah, I fixed some stuff anyway. Phil Binks says, can you recommend a way to record video with Video Pencil for my software demos without eCam? Are you trying to do if you're trying to do a screen recording of Video Pencil, then use the built-in iOS screen recorder. If you're trying to record you can do that, or you can just use QuickTime on your Mac. If you plug in over USB, if you do new movie recording in QuickTime, your iPad will show up, and then you can record the screen that way. So there's a few ways. Like OBS will do it as well, like that which is free. Like there's a few different ways. Tell me if that makes sense. But just give it a go. Like QuickTime Player actually has some pretty handy recording features. So you just go into File, New Movie Recording, and then there's a little drop down next to the camera button. I suppose I could show you, but like I'm sort of like all my stuff is in chaos with this strange Ecamm YouTube combo that we're on today. But what I'm going to say, I'm going to give you what are we up to? It's 41. I'm going to give you some live titles hints. All right, so this is well, there it is, Cyprian. That's it. That's exactly it. I was in a messenger call yesterday, and I was frustrated by how hard it is to share many different types of media. I was talking to my parents yesterday, and they wanted to share a picture of my stepmom crashed the car, and she just wanted to show me a picture of this car. And she was like, she was like getting my dad to like WhatsApp me, trying to find the picture, WhatsApp me the picture. And then I'm sort of looking on my phone to see, oh, wow. But with CueCam, you could just drag the picture onto your camera and they can see it. And it's just like, this is a new world, and I'm very excited for more people to be involved. This is the way forward. Yeah, you sending it in a different app, you end up doing weird stuff, or like you go into this like painstaking like entering a desktop sharing mode. But I have you can drag an image onto the CueCam window, and it will show up on your camera. So it's like these are the sorts of problems we're solving. I see Tony's got his hand up, but I also want to let me just give you the a couple of Video Pencil tips. I'll answer Tony. I'll sort of bring Tony in, and then, or maybe I can just bring you in. Tony, you're going to hear an echo, but your voice is going to go through to the thing. So try not to get distracted by the echo. Okay.
Okay, that's no problem. So I just wanted to ask you. You lifted up your stepmom and your dad. How do you make this more palatable to regular people, more like educators? I was just curious, and I don't know if this is something we should save for tonight or not, but I just wanted your thoughts if it doesn't take you too far off the rails.
Spoiler alert, I am on Tony's show later doing a Q&A with some educators. This is another aspect of my journey to CueCam Presenter is last year, like over a year ago now, I spent the last of my money setting up a stall at a trade exhibition. It was a photography exhibition, and just sort of stood there with my wares. You know, I had my laptop, I had Video Pencil, I had Beat Sheet, on a little stand, and I just talked to people that came through, and sort of to try and just look people in the eye and understand where they were coming from, because we're coming from this very technical world, certainly on office hours, after hours, which is what the Zoom thing is, YouTube. We're coming from this quite technical world, but I am trying to make this work for people that aren't from that world. So I'm trying to distill all of the best practices from that world and bring them to people so that, you know, we've done all this clever stuff, and now I've just distilled it into this piece of software. As the ways that people, one of the things that I landed on was I did not have a clear sequence of steps for someone to get started with my stuff. I didn't have a clear kind of path in, and that covered both the sort of technical side, but also the licensing side. It's like, oh, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for this, you got to buy this, you got to, like, how is the person in your IT department, or like your operations department, or I don't know what department buys software, but how is someone going to buy your team 5 licenses? How is someone going to buy the teachers like 3 or 4 licenses to be able to do their remote calls? I just didn't have a way to do that, and Apple's like platforms made that difficult. So one thing that is a massive change with CueCam is the way the licensing works. It's seats. You can buy a bunch of them, or you can just buy the one license, and it is a subscription. This is the way the world is, I'm afraid. But like, you can buy the one license, and it unlocks all of these. It unlocks Shoot, unlocks Video Pencil. So if you've got an iPad, if you've got an iPhone, then you can just start using them. And then you can plug that in wherever else. So really, like, I'm trying to remove the barriers to. So what else I'm removing is the whole setting up OBS, setting up Ecamm, setting up like Mimo Live, whatever you have to do. If you want a virtual camera at the moment, like, you're either sort of doing something quite simplistic with something like I guess Camo, like where you can sort of like make it look a bit prettier. I don't actually know what features they have. I should probably double check. Or you sort of have to download this quite scary bit of software that you have to learn loads about, like Ecamm and like OBS, and even to get the effect you want, you can't always quite get what you want. So what I'm offering is, like, don't go through all that pain, just get this, and you're going to be able to do the stuff that most people want to do, and like a few things that you didn't expect to be able to do. But really, how am I making this more accessible to more people is by talking to people and putting it in front of people and asking them like what they're trying to do, and spotting problems, spotting like areas of friction, and just trying to like incrementally overcome those. So if that's pricing, if that's setup, installation, if that's like usability of the app, it's that I tried to drag in a massive video and then it didn't do what I thought. Just basically one at a time, talking to people, finding out what people's problems are, and just like embedding that into the software, applying design, applying code, right? Like, it's all about the design process here. Like, people will say, make it do this. I will say, no, I will not make it do that, but I will give you a very simple way of doing the thing that you're trying to actually do, right? And that's the design process for software. So we that's the answer basically, Tony. Like, and we can get more into this later as well.
Thank you.
Tony is thanking us the live stream, if you won't hear that. Thanks, Tony. Right. I see Phil saying I can try QuickTime recording, but it only allows screen resolution recording. Video recording is going to make it into QueCam. So this is basically feature request, video recording in VP/QueCam. It's coming in. Something to be aware of. I see that you're asking for 4K. I'm really not looking at 4K, because who uses 4K on a webcam? Like, it's a bit mad. I am quite focused on webcams, but also, like, I think as I come a bit further down the content production line, I'm going to start wanting like TikTok shaped videos and that kind of thing. So it will probably come, the 4K, the different aspect ratios. For now, I'm sort of pretty much focused on trying to get that 1080p experience perfect. But recording is going to come in, like, as soon as it's stabilized. Thing is, I'm sort of being a little bit cautious about adding any brand new features before my first child arrives in February. So I'm trying to like have it in a pretty stable state. So either I get carried away in the next couple of weeks and just throw recording in, and then you've got it and it maybe doesn't work quite right, or it might be sort of mid next year, once the sort of like sleepless nights have hopefully settled down a bit. But I want to go a little bit beyond just giving you a recording as well. I want to give you like the timestamps of the different sections in a format that you can paste into your YouTube video and get the chapter markers, right? I want to give you maybe a little bit of speech, like I want it to transcribe it maybe, and then like let you do things, like maybe kind of automatically go to ChatGPT and give you a summary of it. And I want to sort of like, I have a lot of like pain doing like content creation, even with Descript. And I think this live content production thing, if I can sort of like automatically timestamp your thing, and then it's got a piece of content out the box. If it's not perfect, you do another take rather than you spend ages editing and that. I want to give you like a piece of content out of the box that also includes the summary and the title for YouTube and the chapter markers and like a description. So this is sort of my vision for it, but maybe in the short term I'll just stick a record button, like, you know, eCam's got a record button and then it goes show file, and then that's probably actually going to be enough. But yeah, so I see another thing about, I was thinking about, as an educator, I had a tough time even getting a second device, let alone a third one. I had the IT team reporting to me. So we the whole, I know, and this is another thing where conversations with like institutions, like what are you even allowed to do? Is your laptop even going to let you install this camera extension? We do, and that's something where I'm going to be, I'm making more space to have conversations like that and figuring out how we can do that. But I know it's kind of hard to get Apple devices in a lot of institutions, but I do also know that, and somewhere at like Imperial College London, where my partner worked until recently, like they're all iPads all over the place. So I know that some I will find, but then maybe others it gets a bit more difficult. And once you get into sort of Windows world, I am Mac based, and I am not intending to support Windows in any sort of like, CueCam is not coming to Windows. It just wouldn't work. Like, it's just the platform isn't there, right? So it is going to be, if you do have to, I do need these organizations to have like access to Apple stuff. I'm doing this all on my own. If I had a team of 100 people, maybe I could support Windows. I'm doing all this on my own. Like, this is what I can achieve. I can achieve a lot. But yes. All right. I see. Thanks for a reply. Looking forward to new features next year. And February celebration sounds. I thought you were losing sleep these days. This is just training for the happy days. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Look, let me give you a couple. It's been nearly 50 minutes. It's over 50 minutes. Let me give you a couple more tricks. I just wanted to give you these ones for Video Pencil. Right. Live titles. I don't know if you know this. If you draw a line in Video Pencil and then speak before lifting up the thing, you can put text on the screen. You can put text on the screen. Can you? You can put text up, right? And right. Hello. Okay, this is usually I do it so slickly. First thing with live titles is like, there is a skill to it. There's a knack to it. I do find it easier with a finger. I do tell people this a lot. Like, I do it with the pencil. It's a bit hard to keep the line straight, but it is much easier if you use your finger. Right. A couple of things that I find. Punctuation. If you go, "Can you hear me?" It's just going to do that. But like, say you're in a thumbnail on Zoom, like there's lots of people, you just want to put like, "Can you hear me?" right on your thing, so the speaker sees it. All you do is go, "Can you hear me?" ? Okay, that's right. You can do this, and then you go, "Yes, I can!" ! Right? We can sort of put punctuation on, and that can be quite cool. That can be quite handy. So your mic's on mute. You want to put some text up. If you pinch, you can like, make that bigger and smaller. It can be fun. If you go into the select tool and select some of it, you can, if you select it, you can move it around with the selection tool. But if you just like rub out, and this is, I don't know if this is a feature, but if you just rub out a tiny bit of space on it, now when you draw around it, you can actually move different letters around. And that's, I don't know if that's a useful feature. It's not something I've spent a lot of time fixing, the thing where you have to delete a little bit of text before it works, but you can do that. Another one that I was going to say, that there's I quite like this. By the way, there's a reset zoom button that you can use to, like, if you've sort of gone, if you've sort of panned around and it's up here, you can just hit reset zoom on that. I wish you could see the iPad. I do have an ability to do that, but it doesn't work with the audio when this is happening. So that's no good for now. You can in live titles, you can actually, when you select the font, you can have like a nice outline version of the font, which I think is really cool. But the only problem with it is it's not very legible. So I often wish I could use it. But another thing is, like, using the transform feature. And this is sort of like a live title / drawing. So I always come back to this Venn diagram, like good, cheap, fast. You sort of do your Venn diagram, and then you realize you want to sort of like illustrate, something cool up here. If you just drag, 2-finger drag if you've got, this is another thing. If you have allow drawing with pencil enabled, then it's with finger, then it's a 2-finger drag. If you don't have that enabled, then it's a 1-finger drag. But you can actually like pan that around. I'm going to make this a bit better. I think that wouldn't do that if we went on the new way of mirroring the thing. But like you can move around and sort of add to this thing over time, and you can sort of like tell a story. You can sort of draw this. You can sort of like build up quite a big like drawing and just keep going and sort of like have different characters come in, have different things happening, just by using the pan feature, and you can sort of like zoom out. So like the whole pan and zoom thing can be quite expressive. So that's just a little bit of video pencil stuff. But we really do need to finish. Thank you for spending so long with me. But what I will say, conversation. Right, this evening, I am going on Tony Mobley's show, Conversations with Tony Mobley. Just search for that, or look at the email if you're on the mailing list. And Tony's going to be I think the structure of the call, and maybe I'll bring you in a little bit, but that it's I did it once before. You're sort of using the office hours Q&A format and sort of asking. So there will be a panel that will be able to ask questions. And
yes, you'll be able to ask questions. We will be using OH content tonight, and we're expecting great questions from the community tonight.
Excellent. I look forward to that. So just come and find it. There's a link in the email. Find me on Discord. But yeah, we're doing that tonight. It's going to be at 1 a.m. my time. I've been up since 6 on the dot because we had to go to a scan. So I hope I will be on form enough to answer questions lucidly, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It was quite fun last time, staying up late and kind of like doing a bit of doing a broadcast. But yeah, so beyond that, don't forget, you have got 2 more days to redeem this 25% introductory offer. So if you see some rough edges, that's why there's a launch discount. Like, it's the first time it's gone up out in front of a lot more people than just the beta testers. You're going to find the rough edges here and there. I'm going to fix them as quick as I can. But like, just remember that it's your last chance. So to get that discount, and then of course don't forget to sync up your devices so that you get all the other discounts if you've bought other stuff, for which I thank you. I want to make sure you don't feel like I'm like blindsiding you with a thing, any money you've spent. And I somehow, like, I know, like, today I fixed the discounts, and that meant that my new customer spent 0 for the year because I bought so many other things. So like, it can go down to 0 for the first year. So just, if you've bought stuff, don't be scared. Also, like, it's a bit gameable because I do give you like the $99 discount if you've got lifetime updates. But if you bought that like a year ago, you would have spent like 25 quid. So, it's exploitable if you do want a discount. So maybe get it before I fix that. All right. It's your last chance anyway. For that one, come and find me on squares.tv/discord, and there's sort of over 200 people on that now, and I'm hoping soon other people will start being able to answer questions better than I can. But first step, like, build up a bit of a community. But yeah, I'm usually pretty responsive on there, and then email as well. But yeah, this is where you can come, and it's a bit easier to get some support when I'm asleep. Which I won't be tonight, but I will be tomorrow night. So thank you so much for joining me today. I know attention is in short supply, so I do really appreciate you joining me. Sorry for the technical problems up front, but it is what it is. I'll see you soon. Take care. Have a good evening. Good day.